AFMA and Senator Roberts.
Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Can you please discuss some of the background on the Spanish mackerel fisheries management, especially in Queensland? I understand in recent times there have been significant changes in the management and the quotas are being reduced. Do you have more information on exactly what has happened?
Thank you very much, Senator. No, I'm afraid I don't. Queensland Spanish mackerel, East Coast Spanish mackerel fishery is managed by the Queensland government, so the only things I know about it is what I read in the media and from talking with colleagues. I don't have a lot of insight to offer, I'm afraid.
Well, maybe we could share a couple of points and then you can chime in. I understand that in 2018 the stocks of Spanish mackerel were considered sustainable, but a change in modelling has turned that on its head. There is a lot of scientific disagreement about whether the new modelling is sound, isn't it? Have you seen that?
I've seen that play out in the media, Senator, yes.
Okay. On the new changes and a previous mackerel stock assessment, there was one reviewer's conclusion. His name is Clare, K-L-A-E-R, 2021. He said, quote, "I am unable to support the conclusions regarding future harvest levels for the East Coast Spanish mackerel stock until reservations regarding the most appropriate central value for steepness for the base case are resolved." Does AFMA have a view on whether robust science has been applied in Queensland fisheries setting the Spanish mackerel quotas?
Thanks very much, Senator. So perhaps I can make some very general comments. All fisheries stock assessments are very sensitive to the assumptions that are built into the model, and this concept of steepness is a particularly heavy driver, and certainly we have encountered disagreements about what steepness values should be in some of our assessments of Commonwealth fisheries. In terms of whether or not I'm confident with the science that's been done by Queensland, as I say, that's I haven't reviewed the science because it's not a fishery that we're involved in or manage. I would say, just as a general observation, I do have a very high respect for the fisheries scientists that work for the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries in Queensland. But as I say, I haven't been through the technicalities of this.
Could you tell us about steepness?
So, Senator, steepness is a value that comes from part of a stock assessment model called the stock recruitment relationship. And so what the stock recruitment relationship tries to explain is how many adults do you need in the water to produce a certain number of babies for future cohorts. And so, you know, traditionally you might think, well, it's probably linear, you know, the more adults you got, the more babies you get. And while that's true, it's very rarely a nice straight line. It's a curve, and it's very difficult to estimate. Okay. And so the steepness is the gradient of that line.
I must say you hit the nail on the head, because a lot of people are disagreeing with the model used. The models have cut the quotas as a result of the modelling, and the underlying assumptions, is my understanding. We also had a really disastrous, I would say almost fraudulent basis for the reef regulations that are decimating the East Coast in Queensland. The science, we've shown the science by questioning the scientists themselves at an inquiry that the Senate held in Brisbane, just how false the science is. There's no basis for those. So that's why a lot of fishermen are also now upset about the modelling and assumptions for their fishery quotas. So what you're saying makes perfect sense. Thank you very much. Thank you for your clarity.